Chris, are you gone? Is Chris already on his way home? If so, I will wait until later. Not to start, but to do a little unboxing. Moonfox, hi, doesn't it sound exciting? Also, look at my drink. Looks exciting. Jonathan Miller, we were worried about you, but we knew life got in the way, so welcome back. This is an energy drink, but because I'm drinking it out of a mason jar, that makes it sort of healthy slash bougie? I don't know. I don't even know. Well, whatever. When Chris gets home and he's settled, then we can do that later. It's a lovely precursor to Valentine's Day, anyways. I hope everybody's doing well. It is indeed the day before Valentine's Day. The day before Valentine's Day, you still have time, I say, to get your sweetheart, your lover, your loved a gift. Hi, Lucy. Um, Lucy's here, Vicky's here, Moonfox is here, Jonathan Miller is here, like I said. Christy was here. Chris was first. We got a wait, hold on. We got a Chase was smashing something in the chat. Okay. Shannon, hello. Jim, Bev, Vicky, Chris. Knives are life. Uh yeah, that's what we got so far. Perfect. Yeah, consumed with legal stuff. You know, you make it sound dangerously scary, but that's your job. There ain't no nuts in that there. No. Although, can you hear that? There's ice in it. Um, no nuts in it. After I drink that, I'm gonna drink a Coke and not drink another energy drink. I think that's my mitigation method for for this evening or this afternoon. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. We're going to be watching a divorce case, what I think is either divorce or custody. It's in front of Judge Kirkham. We are not going to finish it today. It is over 5 hours. So I have it, but we will not be finishing it today because I have plans later. I have pre-Valentine's Day, non-Valentine's Day plans later. So that's why this started a little early and why we won't be going for the full 5 hour shebang tonight. Tell me what you had for dinner. I just ate breakfast because I'm terrible at waking, like, I'm just bad at regulating my food intake. Well, I'm not bad when you don't like label it, but when you label it, I'm not very good at it. So I just ate breakfast. So tell me what you had for dinner, or tell me what you wish you had for dinner. I'll listen, but I'm not thinking about dinner just yet. It'll be a little while. You know when you're like, you don't want to eat yet? You don't want to eat. Uh-oh. Someone's walking around. You use Zed in a conversation today? Were you talking about me saying Zed? Where else would that come up, Jonathan? Um, I mean, I say Zed all the time. XYZ, if you will. Yeah, I know. Like cooking, I am fine at cleaning. I don't really like doing both. And lately I've been doing both. So it's a bit strenuous on my brain. But I have figured out a little workaround around that, which is that I just tell myself I'm tidying the kitchen. I don't have to clean it, I just tidy it. Still the same amount of cleaning, but for some reason, if I label it that in my head, it's even better. Anyways, okay, let's get started because we have a lot to watch and we'll just fill people in as we get going. Like I said, we had to do all those fucking forms today. You're spelling a name for a deputy clerk and was having trouble who was having trouble reading your scribbles. Yeah, you know, Z, oh, Sounds weird when I say it. Z is very sounds sort of like E or B or C. Z is pretty unique. You'd know what somebody meant, right? Oh yeah, I gotta switch the screen. You guys, I'm seeing.
Put you there 15 days. Actually,
Sorry, I had to just skip over that because that wasn't what we were here for. We are not here for criminal court. We are here for these sad people. Mr. Baker up there. Hi, MB. Um, Also, isn't Miss McNiff the one with Abraham Lincoln? I thought she was the Abraham Lincoln lawyer. It looks pretty good. It's 5+ hours. We are not watching the whole thing today. We'll do some today, some tomorrow. I'm drinking energy drinks. Cheers.
Jennifer Wheeler, please unmute.
Ma'am, what the fuck? That was so, like, in my ear. Hi, Erica. Let's just say I'm glad I have found a refill on my pen. And it's not tobacco.
Well, Jennifer is.
I just texted her.
Okay.
There she is.
It's 2017.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. So she looks so happy to be there, considering it's her divorce. What did she just do there? She did a little like, hello. We are watching a divorce or custody thing. I think we have redheaded Jennifer, the smiley girl up there, Miss Wheeler, versus sad, sullen, holding his phone at his knees, Mr. Baker over here, who has some heavy curtains beside him. And then in front of Judge Kirkham. And then we have these two lawyers to fight it out for our entertainment. Let's go. This is Michigan. Judge Brian Kirkham's court.
3392DS Jennifer Wheeler versus Thomas Baker. Today is Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, and 8:46 a.m.
good morning to everyone. I'm sorry for the delay. We had another matter come up actually yesterday that we had to do a hearing at 8:30. So unfortunately, started us a little bit late. But good morning to everyone. Court will note that this matter is before the court on the evidentiary hearing on the defendant's motion to expand parenting time in this matter.
Okay, here we go. We're learning. Yeah, this was earlier today. I get you guys fresh court, Jonathan. Fresh court. I'm always scouring the interwebs for y'all. And like I said, I have over 5 hours of this case. So, okay, defendant's motion to expand parenting time. I'm guessing that he's the defendant, but I could be wrong. I've ate my words so many times. Oh, I'm gonna make the rest of those jalapeno things later. Also, did I put those on my list? I did. I need more of those. They're so delicious. Yeah. Fresh is pretty awesome. Also, if people did watch this today live, which is totally possible, that's awesome. I didn't. I don't know what's gonna happen. So to me, if it's 5 hours, it seems like there's some shit they got to fight about. I scrubbed through one part and I did hear some witnesses testifying, and one of them sounded a little bitchy. That's all I'm gonna say. So we'll see, but I don't know much else about that. We're learning together.
And Mr. Bartell, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. McNiff, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Bartell, do you wish to make an opening statement or proceed to your proofs?
Your Honor, I'll just state where we're going with this. We filed the motion back in 2021. Your Honor had a hearing in which my client had supervised parenting time. I believe it was for 1 or 2 hours a week, in which at that time Bruce Sweet was the supervisor ordered by the court. Mr. Sweet had supervised parenting time with him on several occasions and recommended that he gets expanded parenting time to 6 hours per week. There was a stipulation by the parties that my client would get 6 hours per week, and it was also recommended by
MB, is his client the gentleman? And hi, Shadow Night Wolf. How are you doing? Happy early Valentine's Day? MB, do you I love that. Thank you. You're so sweet. Do you remember? Because I haven't watched it, so he is. Okay, so this gentleman right here. Hello, sir. I'm doing pretty good. Uh, I mean, my energy level is now up because I'm drinking my energy drinks. Anyway, so Mr. Bartell over here is the defendant's, who is the gentleman. Okay, guys versus girls. Bad Scooter's here. Hello. Also, guys, if you're just getting here, please make sure you clock in for your shift. I'm taking a few notes so that we remember these things. So, original order was in 2021 for 2 hours a week. Then they got a increased order or increased recommendation to 6 hours a week. Let me just say right now, and I'm not even gonna like pontificate that much about it, but the reality is that if you have supervised parenting time that is limited to such low numbers, and it's been now 3 years, that is concerning to me. That says either something's still a problem. Happy Mardi Gras, Dana! Ooh, I like the sound of that. We should say, I wish we could throw beads. Well, I hope, Jonathan, we're going to figure it out. I mean, I hope we find out too. Hope, I hope, I hope. Woo, cheers.
Mr. Sweet that my client be supervised by his mother, which occurred. My client has consistently been exercising his parenting time. We are asking for the court to lift the supervised portion of it to unsupervised and expand his parenting time. Currently, my client is receiving overnights every other weekend from Saturday at 9 a.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. Supervised.
Hi, Tiny Piggy. Okay. Saturday, 9 a.m. He has progressed then. You have first-hand experience with supervised visits. Yeah, Erica. And hi, Chris. So I think the interesting thing about that is that it's not necessarily like the end of the world. Sometimes it is a true direction to better access in parenting, and safe for everybody involved. But my concern was that it didn't sound like it had progressed. Now, but if he's already getting overnights once every whatever, that seems like it's progressed to me. But he's saying they're supervised overnights and he wants it to be unsupervised. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I'm surprised it's going to take so long. I'm really surprised that's the only motion, to be honest with you. But is that normal that the one motion could be fought over for 5+ hours?
Advised by my client's mother or his grandmother. We believe in this matter. There is nothing, at least, unless it's hearsay or just mere conjecture, that would warrant my client to not get that unsupervised period of time. So that's all we're asking for in this matter, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. McDiff, do you wish to make an opening statement, reserve your opening statement, or waive your opening statement?
Your Honor, briefly, I would say that what Mr. Bartel has said is primarily right. Although we will be presenting proofs today that Mr. Baker has had unsupervised parenting time, which was not authorized either by this court or by my client, and that he's been involved in a relationship that involved domestic violence in the last 12 months, in fact, in the last month. And that we believe that due to the fact that he has not curbed his violent tendencies or obtained any anger management counseling or tried to address the issues of domestic violence that he's perpetually had throughout a long time, that the children would not be safe alone with him. And we will be asking that his mom be removed as a supervisor for the reason that she has permitted him to have time with the children without her supervision.
Okay. Mr. Bartel, your first witness.
Yes, I'd call Thomas Baker.
Okay, sir, we'll have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, and then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
We need to talk about her voice. What's going on with her? Is she okay? She is screeching to the point of concerning me. Is it like excitement? Like her, she only gets to say like 6 words or whatever during the whole, or 6 sentences during the whole hearing. So, like, I'm actually concerned though. Like, she sounds like on the precipice of just like leaving. I don't know. She just sounded so fucking concerning to me, and nobody, yeah, like she sounds like she's crying. Like, ma'am, we haven't even started yet. Oh, I mean, it is only 8:47 in the morning where they are. I don't know if she's had her full energy drink yet or not, but I hope I don't sound like that.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
All right. Can you state your name for the record?
My name is Thomas Jeffrey Baker.
Okay. And do you have any children?
Yes, I do. I have 5 children.
Okay. And I guess, could you name all your 5 children?
Could you not? What the fuck kind of question is that? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Please don't. Oh, he's gonna. Whatever.
Jasmine, Braylee, Macy, Zoe, and Tessa.
Okay. And Jasmine.
Are they all with the same mother? I don't like to judge names that much. Hi, Johnny, Sweden in Sweden. Wait, is that 5 girls that he has? Jasmine, Braylee, Zoe. What else? but they sound like different mamas because of the names, you know? He should know their birthdays too. Yeah, he should. He should know their names, their birthdays. No, I know it's a fair question. I think it's almost like a gimme, but it is obviously we need to lay a proper foundation of information. Foundation of information. I better stop pausing it. We're never gonna get anywhere.
How old is Jasmine?
She is 15. She will be 16 on the 19th of this month.
Okay, and do you have parenting time with Jasmine?
I have full custody of Jasmine
Okay, and how long have you had full custody of Jasmine?
since she was 5.
And is that just full physical custody or also legal custody?
It's joint legal custody, full physical, joint legal.
Okay. And what is the parenting time, I guess?
Well, it's supposed to be her mother gets her every other weekend, but sometimes she doesn't get her.
And you said she's 15 years old?
Yes, sir.
And what grade is she in?
She is in the 9th grade.
Okay, and at what school?
So, no, we're not doing that. I'll have to jump ahead on that.
Okay. Has there ever been any allegations that you have abused her, either physically or mentally?
Nope.
And with regards to your other, I'm sorry, who is the mother of Jasmine?
Her name is Lindsay Wilson.
And do you and Lindsay Wilson otherwise co-parent with regards to Jasmine?
Yes, we communicate with each other on a regular basis and discuss her future.
Okay. Are there any issues with regards, any major issues with regards to co-parenting with Jasmine's mother?
No.
Okay. And you indicated you had 4 other children. Who is the mother of those other 4 children?
Jennifer Wheeler is.
Okay. And what are the ages of the 4 children?
Braylee is 8. Macy is 6. Zoe is 4, and she will also be 5 on the 19th, the same as Jasmine. And Tessa is 3.
Okay. And what is your current parenting time with those 4 children?
As you said in the opening statement, I get them every Saturday from 9 a.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m.
Approximately how long has that been going on?
Several months now, since the last time we were in court.
Okay. Since about the end of November of 2023?
I believe so.
Okay. And prior to that, what was your parenting time with the children?
Every 6 hours on Sunday, and we usually did 1 to 7.
1 to 7 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And how long had that gone on for?
Over a year.
Okay. And prior to that, was there a different parenting time arrangement?
Only when we were seeing the kids with Bruce Sweet. Once we stopped seeing the kids with Bruce Sweet, it's always been the 6 hours on Sundays with my mom. And then just recently it was changed to the overnights.
Okay. And what was your parenting time prior to the last evidentiary hearing in December of 2021? When you were receiving overnights?
Prior to 2021, I didn't see my kids for almost a year.
Okay. And was there a time that I guess you did regularly see your children?
Before 2021, it was when I was living with them.
Okay. Now, I just want to get some background information. Where do you currently work?
I work at Faber Laser Manufacturing in Marshall.
Okay, and what do you do there?
I assemble small parts for other welding manufacturing companies.
And how long have you been there?
My year mark was January 6th, so I've been there 13 months.
And about how many hours per week do you work?
I usually work 36 to 44 hours a week.
Do you average 40 hours a week? Or is it
I,
different?
I usually average about 30, 38. Right now is a slow season right now, so there's not much work right now, but it's picking back up.
Okay. And how much do you earn per hour there?
I was making 23 an hour, and I just had my review last month, and I got a 50-cent raise. So I'm at
So you're
23.50 an hour.
And do you get any benefits at Faber Laser? What I mean, like
No,
medical.
no, it's a very small company. There's only 10 employees, so they don't offer health insurance.
Okay. And are you currently paying child support?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what the child support amount is per week?
I believe it's $368 and some change.
A week? But for 4 kids, but still, that's extremely high. Is that, does he make that much? That seems extremely high, if that's per week. Especially for Michigan. No offense to anybody in Michigan, but we hear a lot of cases from Michigan, and there's just child support's low sometimes. And what didn't he just say? He was only making $23.50 an hour. $23.50 an hour. Yeah, you can't be paying $1,200 a month in child support on $23 an hour. Well, if we hit play, Paisley, you'll find out.
And is there an arrearage right now?
Yes, sir.
And approximately what is the arrearage?
I'm willing to guess it's close to 12,000.
Okay. Can you explain to the court why you have an arrearage of that amount?
During the first evidentiary hearing we had, I was only making $15 an hour, and the court set my child support to $23 an hour. So even at half my paycheck, it wasn't enough for the full amount. So I kept going into arrears every week, even as I was paying child support. I did go a span of 5 months, I believe, before the evidentiary hearing where I didn't have a job. So that kind of added to it as well. But even working now at $23 an hour, if I don't work a little bit of overtime every week, my check is literally half my check, and I still owe her a few dollars after that because it's never the full amount.
Okay, so after that period of time where you were making 15 an hour and you had a period of time where you did not have a job, have you consistently made your child support payments?
When I wasn't working, I didn't, but since I've been employed, I have been making it regular payments.
Okay, so since you've been working with Faber Laser?
Actually, when I started working at $15 an hour, it was with Prairie Farms through a temp service. And then I went through a couple other jobs to try to get up to that 23 an hour. And then I finally found this place last January.
Let me re-ask the question.
Okay.
So since you were working with Faber Laser, you have consistently been making your child support payments?
Yes.
Okay, so it was the period prior to that that you had incurred your arrearages.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, where do you currently live?
I live with my mother at 66 North Union Street in Battle Creek.
And how many bedrooms are in that house?
4.
Okay. And how long have you been living there?
Since I moved out of Jennifer's house in
And what date was that?
2021, March 26, 2021.
The day after my birthday, March 25th, coming up next month. 5 children is a lot of children. What is her income, I wonder? That's a lot of child support too. Um, yeah, kids are very expensive though. Yes, they are.
Are you able to afford to move out of your mom's house?
No,
And why is that?
because I can't make enough money with half my child.
Tell me about it, buddy, but guess what? You gotta. Says the bitter Paisley. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Tin Man. Who else did I miss? Oh, Chuck. Hi, Chuck. You are having breakfast burritos for dinner. That's delicious.
Support or half my check being taken out for child support. I don't have enough to even afford rent. Like I barely make it by right now. I try to give my mom money for rent to stay here, but some weeks I can't because I don't make enough money.
Now, with regards to your children, you had indicated that you were receiving overnights every other weekend.
Yep.
I guess, can you describe how do you get the children?
Me and my mother drive in her van all the way to Coldwater to pick them up. We get there just before 9. They come out, they give us hugs. We get in the van and we drive back to my house, to my mom's house.
Okay. And so plaintiff lives in Coldwater,
Yes, sir.
and approximately how long of a drive is that for you and your mother?
It's about 45 miles one way.
And you're doing all of the driving for the pickup and drop off?
Yes, sir.
So when you get your children, do you spend all the time with them?
If I'm not working, yes.
Okay.
There are
Are there
some Saturdays. There are some Saturdays where I have to work a small shift of 5 hours, and it's usually from 10 to 3. But it's not every Saturday that I work.
Okay, so not often?
Not often, no. I usually spend most of my time here with them.
Okay. And I guess who prepares their meals?
I make their breakfast and lunch, and my mother makes the dinner, but I serve them and clean up after them for every meal.
That's fair too. I think it's fair to share those responsibilities. Remember, I lived in a family household up until very recently. Um, and I would do some of the meals and Nana would maybe do a meal. Um, and when you're working out of the home, that's even harder. I, you know, he's striking me as pretty reasonable so far. But of course, this is what his lawyer wants to present, and they may have practiced this extensively. So, uh, let's see what happens. I'll reserve judgment no, I never reserve judgment. I'll judge now and I'll judge again later. Also, Erica, I sing my words. Yes, I do that all the time. I also try and rhyme. Uh, yeah, I don't know why. That's my frickin' brain. Billy, welcome. It's rough out there, tell ya.
Okay. And who does their laundry?
I do mostly. My mom has helped me in the past when we are running late or something. She'll help me out.
So since you have such a short period of time with your children, can you explain to court why you're doing laundry?
I have all my own clothes here for them. So whenever they get here, I get them out of their clothes that they came in and I wash them and dry them. So that way, when we take them back the next day, they have their same clothes that they came in, clean and ready to go.
So you do have clothes there for all of your 4 children?
Yes, sir.
And do you ensure that the children are bathed?
Yes, sir. I bathe them every week and they come over.
Okay. And who puts the children to bed?
I do.
Okay. Is there any other ritual, such as reading or anything else that you do with the children before they go to bed?
Yes, we do read stories from time to time. Most of the times they like to sit down and watch a movie. Their favorite is Finding Nemo.
And remember, oh, I just pressed a button maybe, but remember they are only on they're on the weekends, and that's not unreasonable. Although I again, first of all, here's here's a little tidbit for you. Chris Engelby, you're back. Are you home now? Here's a little tidbit for you. We'll take a miniature break. Uh, children's success in school, like academically, and like how much they enjoy to read, tends not to be how much you read to them as a child, but rather how much they saw you read alone. Like it's basically how often the parents or the people in the household are reading basically for pleasure on their own is going to really impact how often or if a child sort of likes reading or not, really. And so uh if your kid sees you reading for your own pleasure and benefit, then that is basically a big indicator that they themselves may enjoy reading later on, and be quite successful in certain instances. But of course, that's not exactly true because I saw my mother read all the time. I am a great reader, but I failed school miserably because my brain is different. Anyways, Chris, now that you're here, we're going to take a momentary break because I'm going to say thank you to Chris because look what came for me today. A special package. Thank you. And I loved reading as a kid too. Don't get me wrong. I want everyone to understand that. But what I'm saying is like when you read, sometimes people just like, you know, they bang out the reading to the kid. They're like, well, I got to read 3 books to my kid every night or whatever. And they bang that out. Um, so it's less important to like, hustle through the reading and sort of make it happen as opposed to actually enjoy it is sort of what I'm trying to say. I like audibles as well. Other football things I don't like. No, I'm just joking, Erica. Audible is great, and um my daughter and I listened to Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter many times, still do, but my daughter would listen to it at night. Anyway, so Chris, thank you so much. This is from my Amazon wish list. Now, what did you do? You made me very happy. You got me a Valentine's gift. Lisa's here. Look at what this says. I'm so excited. I love it. I am so excited for this. Thank you so much, Chris. What a fabulous Valentine's gift. It suits me perfectly. And you can see here, I love this. They painted it to look rusty. It was the last one. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. much. I'm so excited. It's got little holes on the side, so I'm gonna hang it up over on the wall over here. I'm excited about it. This is so awesome. Oh, thank you again, Chris. And for the bag too. Again, I'm like, again, just a sucker for the nice, no, I guess I never, Jonathan! Oh my God. Beware. Yes, Chris, the card was attached. Thank you so much. And I put the card on my little spot that I keep all the cards from Amazon where people send me things. Happy days, Jonathan. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Look at that. You just did 10 memberships. I'm so thankful. Oh my gosh. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy early Valentine's Day. Also, you guys, I'm wearing special love earrings. Do you see that? It says love. And this one's sort of, oh, that one says love too, but in a little bit of a different font. Let me see. And also, this is just another time to point out that my ears are so cute and tiny, right? Look how cute and tiny they are. Look, love. You guys, thank you so much. Seriously, it is such a joy to see people get memberships, but also I have to say I'm a simple girly and you've made my Valentine's Day, Chris, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I think that's the only gift I'm expecting for Valentine's Day, so thank you very much. And I am going to hang it up on the wall. I think I'm gonna go higher up on the wall. Anyways, but I'm gonna leave it out for a little while so that I can still look at it and be all excited. So, let's get back to this divorce. Oh, fuck these people. Yeah, I'm guessing that the wife is the problem, but we don't know. We're gonna learn. Maybe they're not in love anymore. Aren't those cute, by the way, you guys? These are adorable. Oh, well, I love being surprised, so thank you very much.
Do the children, are they bonded with you from your perspective?
Oh yeah.
Can you explain to the court why you think they are bonded with you?
Well, for starters, when I do go to pick them up, they rush out of the house and basically lunge at me to give me a hug and tell me how much they miss me. And then on the drive home, they don't want to get out of the vehicle. We have to coax them into getting out of the vehicle because they don't want to go home. They want to stay with me. I feel like that should show that there's a pretty good bond between us.
When you say go home, you mean back to plaintiff's residence?
Oh, PP. Oh, let me check that too. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, back to Coldwater.
And you have issues getting the children out of the car to go back to plaintiff?
Yes.
Are any of the children worse than the other ones, I guess, with regards to trying to get them out of the house?
Thank you, Chris, alerting me that the delivery had been made. Thank you so much for the PP. I so appreciate that. You love it when we sidestep YouTube, Daddy. You didn't hear that, but you did.
The vehicle?
Yeah, Macy, my 6-year-old, it's pretty hard for her. She's usually in tears most of the car ride home. If not, she's sleeping. But when she gets home, she refuses, and we have to, you know, coax her into doing it and tell her that it'll be okay. We'll see you guys, in a couple weekends. And then we try to tell them what we have planned for them. Like, well, next time you come over, we're going to have a birthday party for, Jasmine and Zoe. So,
Well, how long does it take you to get Macy out of the car?
it differs each visit, but I would say at least a couple minutes each time.
And do the children come to you if they have any issues?
Yep.
Okay. And can you describe to the court what type of issues they come to you with?
Yeah, when they're playing together and they all of a sudden don't get along to where one child's being mean to the other one, they'll come get me and explain the situation.
Okay. Do the children ever confide, and I don't want you to say what they're saying, but do they ever confide in you? Whether it's secrets or just concerns that they have going on in their life?
Yeah.
Okay. So they feel comfortable with you to have conversations with you about private matters?
Yep.
And you had mentioned that the children hug you when they first see you and they don't want to get out of the car on the way back. Are they otherwise affectionate with you?
All the time.
Okay.
They
Can
tell
you
me how much they love me. They tell me I'm the best dad in the world.
Again, these are not exceptionally compelling statements to be made by children because you are the best dad for them in the world because you're probably the only dad in the world that they know. And just by nature, that's that's it. Like the same goes with like Jonathan Miller, you made a good point earlier, right? That this is why transportation should be a shared responsibility. But I would want to know what the car ride on the way home sounds like because children that young are influenceable. It could be as simple as knowing that watching television is not going to be as easy at one house to the other. They could have dysregulation issues as well. And especially if it's one child, that's interesting, you know, especially since they're all quite young. I don't know. I think exactly. And you can't be asking about what happens at the other parent's house. There's a line of respect and responsibility there that goes along with that. But on the other hand, it also is the I mean, when you get to a healthy point, it's actually not unreasonable. But it takes years sometimes to get to that point. And you have to understand that if some kids might interpret your questioning differently than you mean it to be. And so that's why you have to be really careful. I have talked about this before, but when I went through my divorce and I learned that saying something to my daughter like, "Oh, you look just like your father right now." But not even in a mean way, like just in a like I'm noting the absolute honest to God truth while to me that didn't wasn't negative, I learned that hey, you divorced him, aka in their mind it might be as simple as you don't love that person the same way and you just said I'm like them. And I didn't even think about it in that manner, but of course children might just think about it that simply. And so as parents of children that are going through divorce, that's part of what you have to think about and put yourself in their shoes for so that you don't unknowingly make them feel confused or bad about certain things. Again, I used to say that to my daughter when we were together and I had to stop saying it um afterwards because I learned that.
And are they otherwise affectionate, though, otherwise hugging and whatever at your home?
Yep.
Okay. Have the children ever been sick on your parenting time that you recall?
Yes. Just a couple weekends ago, Macy, my 6-year-old, she was sick. Not so
Okay.
much to what she was throwing up, but she did say her stomach and her head hurt and she was really tired a lot. So I monitored her temperature and I gave her children's Tylenol to help with the headaches and the stomach aches.
And were you able to care for her?
Yes.
Okay. And um, with your job, do you have the ability to take time off if you need to for family emergencies or if the children are sick?
Yes, my boss is very understanding, and she knows that I am a single parent, and she understands the situations that I'm dealing with right now. And we don't have a attendance policy at work or anything. We just, if we miss some time, we have the opportunity to come in on the weekends and make that up.
So if your parenting time is expanded in the future, you would be able to take time off and care for them otherwise
Yes, sir.
in emergencies. Okay. Now, with regards to anything with their homework, is any homework ever sent by plaintiff with the children?
No, sir.
Okay. So you haven't had the opportunity to try to do homework with them?
No.
Do you ever do any educational programs or games or anything else with them like that?
We have a few games that involve education, like we have the letters game where you have to make words with letters. We have numbers games. I do, like I said, I try to read with them, and like Brayley and Macy, they're the two out of the four that know how to read. So I try to quiz them and say, "Hey, what's this say?" You know.
Okay. And you routinely do that?
Yes.
Okay. With regards to school, have you been to any school functions?
No, I get told nothing about anything with school.
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry.
Yeah, I have Discord. I'll post a link to the Discord in 1 second. And don't worry, we're watching more than this. Jesus Christ, have we been going on almost an hour? Oh Lord. Okay. But we will go a little bit longer than this, but there's like 4 hours of this case we have.
Yeah, that broke out.
I'm sorry. No, I don't get any information about school.
Can we pause for a moment? I just see that there's somebody else who's joined us and I don't know if this is a witness.
Yeah, this is our 8:30 arraignment. They're finished now. I'm just waiting for Mr. Sharon to join. Judge, do you want to address?
Yeah, why don't we, I'm sorry, but why don't we put everybody else back in the waiting room? We'll address that and then,
Okay. Bobby.
Do we have time for a bathroom break?
yes, we'll take 10 minutes.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We will not take 10 minutes. Whoa. My phone's going off. We will not take 10 minutes. Give me 1 minute to pull up the next one, which was this one. That lady is fucking screeching. Right. I'm just gonna post the link here. Just give me 1 moment, please.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Excuse me, I'm so
just-
sorry. May I inquire if there's somebody in the room with Mr. Baker? I thought I heard a voice.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
Thank you. So I think where we left off was whether or not you've gone to school events for the minor children.
Correct.
Have you?
No. The only thing I've been invited to was they were in a after school activity for a dance program, and I was able to go see them perform.
And when was that?
Last summer.
Okay. Has plaintiff notified you of the children's, I guess, school schedule or extracurricular activity schedules?
No, she doesn't communicate with me at all.
Okay. And she has sole legal custody right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you discipline the children if you need to?
I talk to them, I sit them down, and I explain to them what was wrong that they did, and then I give them a choice of whether they can say they're sorry to the other person or clean up the mess they made or whatever the situation may be, or take a time out.
Okay. Do you ever hit the children?
No, sir.
Okay. Uh, are you otherwise physical with the children?
No, sir.
Do you scream at the children?
No. There may have been a time here or there where they were being very loud and I had to raise my voice just so they could hear me, but I never straight out screamed or yelled at them.
How do you normally talk to the children?
With a soft voice, loving.
Okay, weird. Okay, this is getting on. This is too much now. This is over the top. I would not answer that like that. I mean, I don't. I am a screecher, unfortunately. I don't want to be, but I am. Do you believe him, Vicky? You think he speaks softly? What I would, if I was him, I would have said, just like I'm speaking with you. Because softly sounds like it was a question. Like if it was something they talked about ahead of time. I have not been accused of speaking too softly very much. And my daughter, 15, I don't yell at her. I used to yell a lot. Again, with my undiagnosed ADHD, yelled all the time. Once I was diagnosed, yelling went down. Internal yelling up. External yelling down. But like I am loud as fuck, I would say. Like if you want to be lost somewhere, if your kid's lost, like, or if you need me to take control of a situation, or if I need to talk to like 3,000 passengers who are standing angry on the pier about buses or all the different things, I can do it. I can talk real loud. But I get in trouble. If I yelled as loud as I could hear, somebody would bust in this room and be mad.
Do you love your children?
With all my heart.
Now, I understand you live with your mother. Could you describe to the court how often you involve your children with other family, grandparents, your other daughter, Jasmine,
Yeah.
etc.?
Jasmine's usually here on the weekends that the other kids are here. I had that worked out with her mother to where they could all be together on the weekends they're here. My kids do spend a lot of time with my mother and my stepfather. My grandmother sees us every Sunday, be at church or at home. I bring them to all our family get-togethers, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like all the holidays. They get to see all their family members on this side of the family.
You had mentioned church, so you take your children to church?
Yes, we attend regularly. This last couple Sundays we haven't gone because there's been sickness in the family, but we do try to go every Sunday.
Okay, what church do you belong to?
I attend Overflow Church in Battle Creek.
Okay. And how long have you belonged there?
I have been a member of that church since when me and Jennifer were together. She used to attend the church with us.
Okay. But you routinely take the children to church?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any programs related to church that they participate in?
They, other than just the nursery and the kids' classroom, they did a Christmas play for the month of December, which they all got on stage and performed and danced and sang in front of all the church congregation.
Okay. Does it appear the children enjoy going to church with you?
Oh, they love it.
Okay. And they meet a lot of people at church?
Yep.
Are there other children that go to that church?
Yeah, we have a very big number of children that go to Overflow Church.
I know you'd mentioned it before, that you feed the children. Do you buy them food?
Yes.
Okay. And do you buy them clothes and toys and other necessities?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you describe to the court the type of toys that they have at your place?
It's mostly girly toys, but like they got Barbies, they got stuffed animals, they got a lot of activity games that take small pieces. We have some board games. They particularly like craft stuff, so we do a lot of arts and crafts here with them.
When you say arts and crafts, what type of arts and crafts are you talking about?
Well, we have like we do paintings. My mom will buy some canvases to do paintings on. I got them hung all over my bedroom. They like to play with Legos. They like to we made Christmas ornaments and wreaths and window decorations.
And
At least this is all about the children. I will say that. You know, we've heard some cases before where they're just talking about who fucked who and who left who and all that kind of shit. Um, yeah. And parenting is exhausting. I don't know though. I thought Jennifer had her hair tied back, but I do believe that Miss Jennifer has a Karen hairstyle, you guys. So, and again, I'm a Karen, but I only use my Karens for reverse knee rack powers, reverse Karens because I understand the that with great power comes great responsibility.
your kids have sufficient clothes at your place?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Socks, underwear, pants, shorts, shirts, sweaters.
Yeah. And you get them new clothes if they grow out of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do your children have any special needs that you're aware of?
No.
Okay. Has plaintiff ever notified you of the children's doctor's appointments?
No.
Has she ever notified you of any significant medical issues that are going on with the children?
No.
When is the last time she talked to you?
February of 2023.
And what did she say then?
Well, it was right after my breakup with Shelby. I was trying to reach out to her to talk to her about being civil and working together for the better interest of our children. And I got no text messages back from her. And I actually had the kids, and she came to pick them up because she was in town. And I tried to talk to her in person, and she said it's just best if we don't speak to each other. And I left it at that.
Did you take that to mean you guys should never speak to each other ever again?
That's what it seemed like to me.
Okay, so she's not willing to talk to you about the children with you?
To my knowledge, no.
Do you find out medical extracurricular activities or education, I guess, issues or things going on through the kids then?
Yeah.
So that's your source that you have to rely on now?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever get any information from your mother?
Not really. She doesn't get that much information either from Jennifer.
How long have you been living? I'm sorry, I think you indicated before. How long have you been living in the home you're in right now?
Since March 26, 2021.
If your parenting time is expanded by this court and you're given unsupervised parenting time, would you continue to try to match up the parenting time with Jasmine so that
Yeah.
they can all stay together?
Yes, sir.
And how do your 4 children with plaintiff interact with Jasmine?
Oh, they love Jasmine. They can't wait to see her. Whenever she doesn't usually ride with us to pick them up, she usually stays home. So when we get home, the girls usually run upstairs to her room to say hi to her. They like playing games with her.
So they get along, they play together. There haven't been any significant issues.
No, I mean they're siblings, so they bicker with each other just from time to time, but that's normal in kids. But for the most part, they're very loving with each other.
Okay. And does Jasmine miss them when they are gone?
Yes.
Okay. And have your other four children with the plaintiff indicated they miss Jasmine when they're gone from Jasmine?
Yes. They tell me, they tell Jasmine, they tell my mom, they tell my grandma, they tell my stepdad that they miss us all very much every time we get them back. I missed you guys so much. That's what they tell us.
So I'm trying to focus on since the last order of the court. And when I say last order of the court, I mean the one back in December of 21. So we're talking about a little over 2 years. Has there been any physical abuse by you towards anyone?
There has been claims, but no.
When you say there's been claims, could you, I guess, expand on that for the court?
So I was dating a girl. Her name was Shelby Howard, and we got into an argument one day, and she attacked me, and she burned my face with a cigarette in multiple spots. I had red marks all over my neck from when she attacked me, and all I did was try to restrain her until she calmed down. My daughter Jasmine was there as a witness and reported the same thing I just said to the police when the police were called to my house after allegations of me choking her and threatening to kill her.
Okay. Were there any criminal charges against you?
No, sir.
Was there any personal protection orders entered against you?
No, I was told that she was trying to get a personal protection order on me recently, but I have called the court last week and they said my name's not even in their system.
Okay. Was there an indication to you a year ago when you filed a motion to actually strike that, Your Honor? With regards to Shelby, I guess from your perspective, could you describe, is there any mental health issues on her part?
Yes, she is on disability because I don't know what it says word for word on her paperwork, but she has told me that her brain age is not the same as her actual age, that her brain has not fully developed.
Okay, well,
Your Honor,
that's
I'm
hold on. No,
job.
no,
It's one hearsay.
no, I'm gonna tackle that one first. First, this is from Chris Engelby. Thank you again, Chris. Jonathan, I opened it earlier. Secondly, my brain age is now just probably hitting my most mature point as a 35-year-old lady because I have ADHD, which means that yeah, your functional brain age is less mature than, so I feel like she may be talking about that. She may be talking about something more serious, but I've explained that before. Like you're years behind, and so especially when you're dealing with teenage children that have ADHD, there's a huge gap between their actual like ability versus their chronological age. And like I said, as an adult with ADHD, I'm literally probably just catching up now to, and he's speaking of his ex-girlfriend Shelby. Yeah. I'm still feel like my brain's forming, but I'm like 35, turning 36 next month. And it makes so much sense because I'm like, I'm a big child. But in much better ways these days. Certain things are clicking a lot more. But didn't when I was younger. So
And two, it's a medical opinion that I don't think Mr. Baker is qualified to make.
Court will sustain that.
Has it been, from your perspective, has Shelby been up and down with regards to her mood and
Oh,
how she
extremely,
acts?
extremely.
Okay. And can you describe that to the court?
1 second, she'll be completely cool with you and fine. And as soon as something happens that she doesn't like or doesn't agree with, she instantly becomes mean and outraged.
Okay. And you guys had gone back together again after
Yes, sir.
that? Okay, when
Yeah,
did
we
you get
didn't
back
talk.
together?
We didn't talk for 8 months, and we got back together on our anniversary date, which was August 5th.
Okay. And I guess who initiated getting back together?
I think it was equal parts. We both kind of realized that we weren't blocked on Facebook with each other anymore, so we kind of just both started talking again. And then before we realized it, it was our anniversary date, and we both decided to give it another shot.
Okay. And did you guys break up again?
Yes, we did.
And when was that?
January 6th
Of
of
2024?
24. Yes, sir.
Jonathan has just hit the nail on the head as to why I am still single. It is incredibly hard to deal with somebody who isn't mature in their decision-making processes, or who is sometimes that way but sometimes not, or who is incredibly capable in certain aspects of their life, but then other ones they suck. And you think, God, would this bitch just pull up her bootstraps and figure it out? And listen, I'm talking about Lisa, I'm somebody that's been diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. So I was undiagnosed as a kid. I didn't have horrible behavior necessarily. I was just oppositional. I was defiant. Um, but I was defiant in a very smart way, which pissed my mother off a lot. Um, and even now, I think that um, it's just ADHD. It seems like, oh, people use it as an excuse, but in reality, it is a causation of a lot of issues. Not all of them, and you can compound them many ways, but some of them. And so, uh, yeah, I mean, it's just I can feel for um, somebody that has learned that. Like, especially me, I learned that as as a 27-year-old lady. So your whole life, you start to reassess. You're like, what the fuck? Like, oh, that's why I do all those things. Lisa, an ass whooping never kept me in check. Uh, I didn't have bad behavior in class, except that I didn't turn in homework. I was very attentive in class to the point where I would point out discrepancies, and teachers hated that too, just like my mother hated that when I would point out discrepancies. That in my family is called nitpicking. You're nitpicking, Paisley. Why are you nitpicking? You're always nitpicking people's words or twisting. You're twisting words. You're twisting words. Yeah, and I like being beat. Imagine that. That's true. Um, but I failed a lot of school, regardless of the consequences. My family hated me my last year of school because I fucking failed. And they just couldn't comprehend how I could do that. How could she go to school every day yet still fail? Well, yeah. Yeah. Cognitive behavioral therapy and medication is pretty helpful. Also, scaffolding. So what happens is people around you have to build scaffolding in order to help you do well. It's like a ramp for somebody with a wheelchair. And the problem for ADHD is that they don't go away. And so it's really frustrating for neurotypical people to be like, yeah, well, when can we get rid of this fucking chart that we're doing that makes you do your laundry? And it's like, well, never. Like, I'm always going to need to be rewarded to do those things or be punished because I didn't do them or live in this constant turmoil unless we put in these scaffolding areas and these ability, like these sort of checks and balances. The sex, drugs, the rock and roll. What is it that gets, you going? For me, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll and money.
And who broke up with whom?
Oh, and attention.
She broke up with me.
Okay. And so that was about 6 weeks ago, 5.5 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I guess even during that time when you got back together with her, was there any domestic violence by you towards her?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you been criminally charged with anything?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Has there been any personal protection order entered?
Again, to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Is it your understanding that there's been threats by plaintiff that there is?
Yes, sir.
Is it to your knowledge that she has threatened that even a year ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it a theme that plaintiff will threaten that there's going to be criminal charges or personal protection orders against you?
It would seem that way, yes.
Okay. And do you recognize that your relationship with Shelby is not, I guess, probably a good relationship to be into?
Objection leading.
Mr.
I can
Bartola?
restate it differently.
Okay.
I can
go
restate
ahead.
it differently. How would you describe how you view your relationship with Shelby in the future?
Non-existent.
And why is that?
Because both times that we have split up, the first time she was physically abusive, the second time she was mentally abusive towards me, and I told her the second time we got together that if things weren't going to change and they weren't going to change for the better, then it'd be best if we weren't together. And I love her. I love Shelby with all my heart, but I can be mature enough to say that we're not good for each other.
Okay. Do you have any physical health issues?
No, sir.
Okay, so there's no limitations on physically for you?
Nope.
Do you have any mental health issues?
I have anxiety.
Okay. Does it interfere with your ability to care for the children?
No, sir.
You're otherwise able to cook and clean, bathe them, etc. Everything that we went through before?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ex-girlfriend was on disability. Chris! Thank you. Boop, 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 boop. Thank you so much, Chris. Welcome, Barb. You. It was the ex-girlfriend that's on disability, supposedly. Speaking of lists, this is my current Walmart list. I have learned one hack for me is doing online shopping to save money because I'm not very good at following the list in the store for some reason. Better at online. I guess it's the aisle shopping. You just do less aisles, right? Anyways, thank you, thank you, thank you, Chris, so much. Um, let's let's keep going a little bit. This is terribly tedious, but I think we're getting towards cross-examination. I would love to hear a little bit of cross here. And then we might call it for the evening after, 2 hours, so like another 45 minutes or so. We'll see. I would love to do coupon. I do, well, I don't, there aren't really couponing. There's not really coupons here. Well, I guess maybe there is. I don't know. This gets good. All right. MB's like, you ain't gonna go nowhere, girl. I bet I won't.
Now, with regards to if the court is willing to expand your parenting time and lift unsupervised parenting time, are you willing to cooperate with plaintiff regarding any parenting time schedule?
Absolutely.
Okay, would you want that to happen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you ever criticize plaintiff in front of the minor children?
No, never.
And why do you think that would be appropriate?
No, it would not be appropriate to badmouth the other parent in front of the child. That's one of the
And
things
why
I
is that?
learned. Because it creates a false idea of who that person is to the child.
Okay. And I'm sorry I cut you off. You were starting to say you learned something regarding that.
Yeah, the bad mouthing the kids in front of, or bad mouthing the other parent in front of the kids is one of the things that we learned is a form of abuse in my men's healthy relationship classes that I'm taking.
Okay. And we'll get to that in a second, but okay. And will you, let me ask you differently. Do you encourage a relationship between the children and plaintiff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And will you continue to encourage a good relationship between the children and their mother?
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
Because that's their mother. And at the end of the day, I have nothing but love for her and I wish her the best. And I ask the kids all the time if they're being good for their mom, if they're helping her. I have no malice.
And is there anything else that you do other than just inquiring about plaintiff and the children, doing things for her, that you do to encourage the relationship between the children and plaintiff?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, that was a lot there. Is there anything else that you do to encourage the relationship between your children and plaintiff?
No, in my current situation, there's not much that I can do.
Okay. Other than you do try to tell them to do what mother says?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you're participating in healthy relations classes.
Yes, sir. As part of my probation, I have to attend 26 weeks of the men's healthy relationship classes.
Okay. Let me back up. So there were criminal charges against you last time you were before this court. Is that correct?
Yes.
So back in December of 2021, when I say before the court, I meant the last evidentiary hearing, which was in December of 2021, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what were the criminal charges that the court had heard about at that time?
There was 2 counts of felony child abuse and 1 count of domestic violence.
Okay. And did there come a point that you did plead guilty to a charge?
I did. I pled guilty to the misdemeanor of domestic violence. It was part of a plea agreement given to me by the prosecutor of Branch County in which he would remove the felony charges if I pled guilty to the misdemeanor.
And was that under the diversion program under MCL 769.4A?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have been on probation for how long?
A year and a half almost.
Okay. And have you been violated while you're on probation?
No, sir.
Okay. And have you had any issues while you're on probation what I mean by that is the probation officer called you in and said, you're in trouble now because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
No, the only issue I had was getting into the classes. It took a while to get into these classes, and the Branch County actually sent me a show cause hearing order for the not being in the classes, but I got on the classes before my court date, so they canceled it.
Okay. So you said these classes are 26 classes?
Yep, 26 weeks.
Okay. So how many classes do you have remaining?
Tomorrow will be my 20th class.
Okay. So you'll have 6 more after tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is your understanding that you have to do to be successfully discharged from probation?
I was told that I just have to pay my probation fines off and finish these classes successfully, and then I'd be off probation. I was supposed to be off probation on Halloween. That's when my year was up, because I was only supposed to be on probation for a year. But because the classes and everything got started late, my probation's been extended.
Okay. And speaking of healthy relations classes, what have you learned?
Well, the men's healthy relationship class, they teaches us the many different forms of abuse and ways to avoid using said abuse, as far as like gaslighting and intimidation, using the children against the other party, physical abuse, as well as mental abuse and emotional abuse. They teach us all the hidden signs that we may not see when we're in the mood or in the moment. And they teach us healthy steps to diffuse the situation.
Is there like active participation in these classes?
Oh yes, we do homework almost every week, and once she gives us the homework, the next week when we go into class, we have to present that to the whole class, not just her.
Okay.
The class is about 8 people in it.
Okay. And
Our size is bigger. Fucking for once. These are domestic violence classes, by the way. Also, let's just remember my earrings are so cute. Also, my ears are so cute and so tiny. They're so tiny, and they apparently still grow your whole life. How small were they? Right? Oh, dumbass. I'm covering up the button I need with papers. God dang it.
could you, if you recall, indicate what homework you have done to the court, I guess, or at least one presentation that you have been involved in?
Oh yeah, so one of our homework assignments are it's called an action plan, and what that is they want you to think about something in your life or something about yourself that you would like to change, and then we write 5 to 6 detailed steps on how we plan to change that. And she's also told us that with these action plans, it helps us to teach ourselves goals for personal growth.
Okay, when you say she, who's she?
Her name is Julie Robert. She is the coordinator of the class, I would say.
He does seem to be paying attention. I will give him that. That is good. We have heard too many cases of people not ever getting into these classes, never paying attention, skipping classes. This is Julia Roberts. She's hot. Yeah, exactly, Empy. Fuck, I bet they would pay attention if Julia Roberts was teaching the class. You think? Do you think? Do you think? Like, imagine this, right? Imagine this. You show up to your domestic violence class. First day. You walk in and you're like, I swear to God, that's Julia Roberts. But I mean, it couldn't be Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts wouldn't. But it's so, she looks exactly like Julia Roberts. And then she writes her fucking name on the thing and it's Julia Roberts. And you're like, okay, well, her name can it? Like, I don't know why my brain just loves to think of that. Like, and it's like who's that guy who's a sheriff? part-time. Oh, Stallone. Imagine if, like, or we have Steven Tyler in Bothell. Imagine if Julia Roberts moonlights as a domestic violence teacher, like to how not to be in domestic violence. I just think that's a movie. That's a great Julia Roberts movie. She could teach the class, fall in love with somebody who's in the class, change him. Yeah, boom, bingo, bango. You got a winner.
And I guess circling back to the this last example that you've given, is there anything else that you can think with regard to that example that you presented, I guess, to the class?
Yeah, so like, I mean, I got all my homework if you'd like me to read you one of my action plans, if that would help.
Well, we can't read off things, so you have to go off your memory.
Okay.
If you need to refresh your memory, that I guess you would have to indicate that to us, and we have to go through a step.
No. So for the homework, the action plan, the last one I did was one thing I wanted to change about myself was to not react in an angry manner when something upsets me, and some of the detailed steps that
Now, this is good, except that he just said he never reacts in an angry manner. And I know that he's trying in this class, and this probably sounded like a good one. But you just said you only speak softly when things go crazy.
I wrote on there was to take a moment to take a breath and think about my reaction before I give it. And remember, I'm not another one of my steps is I'm not the center of the universe, that things happen to other people that I don't know about. So to always go about with kindness is one of the key things. And then there's like 3 or 4 more on there, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's hard with self-reflection sometimes, but I guess if you had to do it here, do you think you are improved since taking the healthy relationships classes?
I would say yes. There's been some issues at work and at home life every once in a while to where the older me would probably get upset and blow up about it. But after taking these classes and learning the steps that I've learned, I found myself to be a much calmer and collective person.
Oh, do we think she's going to be able to rile him up? If I was a lawyer, I would be getting ready to rile him the fuck up, because that is the best way to really prove your point in court. You don't want to have to talk about pointing out things he did. Why don't I just get him to get real fucking pissed off in court? And again, this is why my brain is evil.
And you said these classes started back in about November of 23.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess I want to jump around just for a second here. It appears plaintiff is making a big deal about you and your mother had a blow up about 14 months ago, Christmas of 2022.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall back in December of 2022, you were trying to get, you were having parenting time with your children, and there was a disagreement with plaintiff and your mother about around that time period?
Yes, my mother received a message from Jennifer Wheeler stating that she knew that this would upset me, but she wasn't going to let us take the kids for Christmas, which was a Sunday, for my visitation because of the weather. And me and my mother did get into a big disagreement about it, and we argued and stopped talking for several weeks, which, I mean, I could have handled that situation differently, and had I been in my classes, I would have been able to handle it differently. But I take full blame for us having our disagreement, and we reconciled, and things have been great ever since.
Okay. And did anyone hit anyone when you had this disagreement?
No, there was no physicality to it at all. We might have gotten a little loud with each other, but out of frustration that happens, but nothing violent ever happened.
Okay. This wasn't in front of the children, correct?
No, it was not in front of the children.
Okay. And I guess to delve just a hair deeper in, just so we understand what this was about, plaintiff was not going to allow you to have parenting time because she said there was a snowstorm out there.
Yeah, there was a winter weather advisory that happened on Christmas Eve that year, and it was over at 7 p.m. that night. So Christmas morning, the roads were decent enough to where I could have went and got them, but I understand her worry for safety for the children with the roads being bad.
Okay. And looking back at it, you understand that there's different viewpoints as to, I guess, situations like this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I guess, did you leave a voicemail for plaintiff?
I did. When my mother told me that we weren't going to be able to get them because we had planned this for weeks because it was going to be our first Christmas together after mine and Jennifer's breakup. Excuse me. When I got that message, it did upset me. So I called the police station and asked them, if I have a court order and I show up with the police, does she have to give me the kids? And he said yes. So I called her to tell her that, so to kind of maybe put some sense into her head, I guess, to allow me to see the kids, which I understand now within my classes that was intimidation and that was wrong to do so.
Okay.
Okay. That's actually very insightful. Huh. I believe him. He understands it wasn't necessarily illegal, but that was intimidation to her. That is really interesting to me. Well, sometimes you have to eat humble pie in order to get what you want. Um, but I'm just giving credit where credit is due. And he's paid attention. Either he's been exceptionally well prepared for this hearing by this lawyer, and I don't not think that could have happened as well. But I think he's been going to the classes. I have a funny feeling in front of him there are papers from his classes. I think he's got a whole sort of CSI table in front of him. And I wouldn't doubt it if his lawyer and him spent a few hours going over this and doing this. I mean, that is what lawyers used to do with their clients pre-COVID, when people just sort of showed up on Zoom. They used to meet with them and do like trial prep and different and hearing prep and stuff like that. And you hear judges complain a lot now about people not being prepared for different kinds of questioning. This is he's well prepared, I would say, but I don't think it's bad. But again, we are on a direct examination on the he's the defendant, I guess, because she already filed. So a direct examination from the defendant. So of course it's going to sound as good as it possibly can. This is his lawyer asking only questions that he should already know the entire answer to. So, you know, even with COVID, they did depot preps. Yeah, but Erica, what I'm saying is like a lot of the time depot, and I think it really depends on the type of lawyer you are. I think if you are a public defense attorney, sometimes you don't have the money to do that. That's not what's going on here. These are obviously retained attorneys. But anyways, let's see. Let's see.
Okay. And Did you like threaten her life or to beat her up or anything like that in the voicemail?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Did you just indicate what did you indicate the best you can recall?
I indicated that I wanted my kids for Christmas and that it was my court ordered day to have them, and that if I had to, I would show up with a police officer. But that's where me and my mother got the disagreement in, is because she didn't want to go over there with a police officer and upset the children.
Okay. And you understand where your mother's coming from now?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Okay. And you agree that may not be good for the kids to show up with the police regarding parenting time?
I agree.
Okay. And do you understand that the court would deal with any violations of the court orders?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Speaking of Christmas, let me ask you, did that upset you more? Let me ask it differently. Did plaintiff ever celebrate holidays?
When we first got together, she wasn't really the holiday type. She was more of a Scrooge. It was usually me that would initiate the holidays.
Okay. And did you miss the previous Christmas with your children?
Yes, I did.
Okay. When I say previous, that would have been 2021.
Yeah, I did not get to have them for Christmas, and I didn't even get to see them around Christmas.
Can you describe, I guess, the best that you can when the children are over at your place? What are all the things you do together?
Well, when the weather's nice, we like to play outside. We'll go to the park. When it's kind of wet or cold, we'll play inside and we'll play games here in the living room, or we'll play video games. They like to help cook. They like to, like I said, they like to do lots of crafts on top of going to church and everything like that.
And you're always engaged.
Okay. I'm trusting MB. I realize I'm lucky I started so early. So we're gonna be able to go for quite a while today, but not 5 hours, but longer than I thought. So I'm putting on the rest of the jalapeno popper things. They were so good.
Engaged with them when you have your parenting time with them, other than the
Yes,
few
sir.
times you have to go work?
Yes, sir. 100%.
And has there been times, I guess, prior to the court ordering overnights back in November of 23, that plaintiff would provide overnights?
Yes, we had, I had given you a list, but we had quite a few overnights during the year of 2023.
Okay. And so that is all set up through your mother?
Yes, my mom and Jennifer set all that up.
And if you recall, the last overnight that plaintiff had given with the minor children prior to the court ordering the overnights?
I would say the weekend before we went to court.
Maybe we'll do a song game. Actually, maybe we should do the song game thing with Mikey. He owes me a turn on the show. So maybe we could do that. It'll probably be on a weekend. I'll have to talk with them and see.
Because they were staying over here so they could go to church to practice to be in the play that they put on.
There are 5 girls that he has, but only 4 of them are hers. They are 8, 6, no, yeah, 8, 6, 4, and 3, or something like that. I can't remember the rest, Billy. Basically, there are 4 kids. They're young. 4 younger kids, under double digits. And then he has an older daughter who is 15. 8675309. Also, I did hit my 10,000 steps yesterday. Let's get a round of applause for me. Good job, Paisley. Great. Are we going to hit it again today? We're going to have to work on it. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to have to work on that. I never banned you, William. Nobody's ever submitted a report. Also, I'm putting a timer on here for the Jalapeno Papas. Yeah, 10,000 steps. And then today I would like to hit that as well. I would like to hit that every day. Used to be so easy. Now it's not as easy, but making it a point because unfortunately for me, exercise is the cheapest, absolutely the cheapest medicine for my ADHD. It is almost like taking Ritalin to exercise, to be honest with you. It's uncanny how good it is. And the harder I go, the better it goes. I am located on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, Erica.
If the court expands your parenting time and lists the restrictions, would you still encourage a close relationship between the minor children and plaintiff?
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
Well, like I said before, that's their mother, and that's the only mother they're going to have. So I don't want there to be any issues like that. I want them to have a good and loving memories with their mother. You know, I feel that both mother and father should have equal time with their children.
Okay. And do you do drugs or alcohol in front of the children?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do you do illicit drugs at all?
I smoke marijuana here and there, but not
But it's
since I've been
never
on probation. Not since I've been on probation, though.
okay. So that was prior to probation.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that you're a better person and a better parent now in the last couple of years?
I feel like I've grown tremendously. My biggest issue was my temper. But I feel like after everything's said and done and with these classes, I think I'm a better person because of it.
I think you are too, Thomas. Jim, are you asking if I'm from the north part or the south part of the island? And we all know the humble brag, which is I live on the southernmost tip of Vancouver Island.
And you're asking the court today to lift the supervised parenting time and to expand your parenting time?
Yes, sir.
And you had mentioned that kids, at least they like to give you hugs and everything. Do they appear to miss you when you drop them off?
Yes, they cry when they walk into the house.
Okay. And you have a close bond with the children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does it appear they want to spend more time with you?
Yes, every weekend when I go to bring them home, they tell me they don't want to go home.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
She didn't even need to say which objection it was for him to sustain that. Buddy, asked and answered, move it along. We got the point. You're good. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Somebody tell Jim. Southern Tip, Vancouver Island.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. McNiff, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, but Paisley, cross-examination first. Yes, why I would like you to. What do we think she's gonna do? Is she gonna go low and slow, or is she gonna go hard and fast and try and take him out? Was it a hearsay objection? Did she say hearsay? I didn't hear it. All I heard was objection. And I thought the judge just sort of was like, sustain. But again, I am listening and reading. I don't know. I don't have an excuse. You think hard and fast? I mean, that's what I would do, but does she know how? Did Jennifer give her? Oh, she didn't say it. She didn't need to say it. Jonathan, seriously, so like, is objection good enough if it's so flagrant that the judge is like, yeah, duh? Like, they don't even need to specify which type of objection? Or is it the type of thing where it's like, well, you didn't say, so how could I rule on it? Or is that when it's more of an ambiguous objection? I wonder. Again, what angle is Thomas using to get this over by Rocky Point? Not quite. I live in Victoria, which is on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. I'm not doxing myself. That's a pretty big town. And it's lovely here. I'm very lucky. Would I rather be in Florida right now? Yes. Don't tell.
Mr. Baker, in your motion to expand parenting time, you indicated that you had read parenting books from the local library. What parenting books did you read?
One of my favorite ones was The Idiot's Guide to Parenting. There was that one, and I had two other ones that I didn't get all the way through, but that was before I started taking these classes, and I don't remember what the title was.
And what did you learn from The Idiot's Guide to Parenting?
I gotta make this a clip for later. What did you learn from The Idiot's Guide to Parenting? Oh my fucking God. That's hilarious. Idiot's Guide to Parenting. I'm rooting for him too a little bit, but I'm just laughing like what that's a weird first question, you guys. I always judge the first questions that people ask, especially when they're self-represented, but even when they're lawyers, because I find it interesting what they really want to hammer home. And I'm not sure if this is because she went from the top of her list all the way down. I was like, books? I don't even remember him talking about books. But if that's where we're gonna go, like, what did you subpoena his fucking library records? Like,
A lot of the same stuff that I'm learning in my men's healthy relationship class.
It sounds like the men's healthy relationship class involves your relationships with adults as well as children. Is that accurate?
Yes, they have each week we do a different lesson, and there's been several lessons that have had children involved.
But the books that you indicated you read were specifically about parenting.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you remember one of the things that stood out in your mind from reading a parenting book?
Yeah, like no matter what happens, whatever a kid does, it's always best to come approach them with a soft tone of voice instead of angrily yelling at them. I've read that
I believe that is in The Idiot's Guide to Parenting. I 1000% believe that. I also think this is a really fucking dumb question. I'm sorry, but this is really bad. What's Streamlabs doing?
yelling at a child actually does brain damage.
And prior to reading that, were you did you yell at children, whether yours or stepchildren?
I wouldn't say like a lot, maybe here and there when they were getting out of hand, I'd have to raise my voice, but never like straight up scream like death yells at them.
Did you ever call Jennifer's boys from a previous relationship retarded?
I'm going to object, Your Honor, if this is going back to the prior order that the court had. Counsel could have presented this at the evidentiary.
Yeah, if this is prior to 2021, then they're not going to litigate it. If this is, yeah, that's the rule, right? And also death yells. Hi! I think there's sound. But yeah.
Here in the court would already have this and take into consideration.
I can revise that
Okay,
question.
if you would.
Since January 12th of 2022, which was the entry of the last custody order, have you referred to Jennifer's sons as being retarded?
To my knowledge, no.
You've never sent her a
How many kids does Jennifer have? Oh my God. Wait, so we have 5 on his end, girls, and then she's got boys that aren't with him? Interesting. Also, he could just honestly be like, that's possible, I don't recall.
text message since that date calling them retarded?
If I did, it was out of anger and I don't remember it.
And other than the class you're currently attending, have you ever attended any anger management counseling?
Like 12 years ago, maybe.
And were you ordered to do that?
Yes.
And did you learn from that experience?
Yes.
But you still ended up with a DV charge far after that, and that's why you're attending the current classes, correct?
Correct.
So why should we believe that you're learning from this class when you didn't learn from the class 12 years ago?
I did learn from the class 12 years ago. What happened with me and Jennifer's son Dominic was an accident.
Right? And have you attended any individual counseling since January 22?
No, not since January of 2022, no.
Okay. Have you ever had a psychological evaluation?
Since January 2022?
Correct.
No, I've not.
And did you live with Shelby Howard?
No, I stayed there several nights a week, but my mailing address was never at Shelby's house. It's always been here at my house. My personal belongings have always been here at my house.
When you said several nights a week, how many nights a week on average would you spend at Shelby Howard's house?
2 to 3, maybe.
And from what period of time to what period of time?
From when we started dating, August 5th of 2022 or 21 till the time we broke up, which was January 29th of 2023.
And you indicated there was only one incident of domestic violence and that she was the aggressor?
Yes, ma'am.
You've never put bruises on her?
No, I have not.
Has she made allegations against you to you that you've been physically abusive to her?
She has never
May
made
I object to hearsay?
Okay. Ms. McNiff, what's your response?
I'm not asking for specific words. I'm asking if she's ever accused him to him of that type of violence.
Well, that's just an end around, but
Yeah, how
tomato,
would
tomato.
not be hearsay if, again, if he's relating an out of court statement?
I'll withdraw it.
Okay, thank you.
Did Ms. Howard attend parenting time at your mom's house with your kids?
Yes, ma'am.
How often would she do that?
Almost every Sunday. If she had other plans, she would do that, but most of the time she would hang out with us.
And did she observe you disciplining your children and parenting your children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that your general discipline is to talk to the children, maybe put them in a timeout. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
accurate? Have you ever
Yep.
utilized any form of water to discipline the children?
Water, no.
Like spray?
What? What do you mean water? Fucking get right to it, Lisa. I'm not in the fucking mood. I told you I have plans later tonight. And we're not going to be here all day. We're going to watch the rest of it tomorrow night. So I'd like to get into some juicy parts, please, Lisa. Hurry up. If this is waterboarding, this is pretty juicy, but just come out with it.
Spraying the children with water?
No, my stepdad's got a spray bottle that he just picks on the kids with, but we never do that to discipline them.
Now, you indicated that you thought the roads were fine for the Christmas of 22.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall that there was like a 30-degree temperature drop in about 18 hours during that period of time?
No, I don't recall that.
You don't recall bitter cold?
I'm sorry.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
Do you recall that the roads being icy as a result of a very rapid drop in temperature?
I recall there was a winter advisory on Christmas Eve until 7 p.m. And Christmas Day, I went out driving. Yes, the roads were a little icy, but they were not that bad to where I could go to Coldwater and get my kids. My father came from Kalamazoo to see me on Christmas Day, and he took the highway and said that they were pretty clear.
Would you agree that you were pretty hot about that incident, about the fact that Ms. Wheeler thought that the roads were too bad for the children to be out?
I wouldn't say I was pretty hot. I would say I was upset about it.
You didn't lose your temper?
Can you explain how?
Were you texting her and telling her that you would see her in court, that you were going to bring a police officer over?
Yes, I did.
Now, you indicated that your child support arrearage is so high because the income was incorrect. Is that accurate?
That is
Objection,
accurate.
Your Honor, he had stated several things. I would ask her to restate it.
Okay. Well, she can ask individually if that's one of the items or whatever, one of the bases.
Did you indicate that one of the reasons your arrearage was high was because you were making a lower amount of income than what was used for the child support calculation?
Yes, ma'am. In our last evidentiary hearing, you had mentioned that I made $23 an hour at Freedom Motors, so there's no reason I shouldn't be able to make $23 an hour, even though I was only making 15.
And would you agree that you voluntarily quit your job at Freedom Motors?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why you were assigned that income, was because you voluntarily quit that job?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took a lower paying job, correct?
Well, you're always going to take a lower paying job to start at a new place. You don't start at the high numbers like that anywhere you go.
Okay, and that's not what I asked you. I asked you, is it true you quit your job and you took a job with a lower pay?
And I answered that and I said yes.
Okay. Who lives at your mom's house?
My mother, my stepfather, me, and my daughter, Jasmine.
And so you have a bedroom, correct?
Yes.
Your mom and your stepdad have a bedroom?
Yes.
Jasmine has a bedroom?
Yes.
And then the fourth bedroom is reserved for your children with Jennifer?
Right now it's got storage in it, but
So where do the children sleep when they spend the night at your mom's house?
they sleep all over. Some spend the night with their sister Jasmine in their room, some sleep on the couch, some sleep in my room on a cot that I have for them.
So were you to have, now you said you've been having overnights with the children for how long?
Quite a while, at least for a year.
And so was there a reason why that storage room hasn't been cleared out so that the children have appropriate places to sleep?
I would say no, I guess.
Is it possible that storage room could be cleaned out and you could put two sets of bunk beds in there so the children have their own beds?
Yeah.
But even though they've been coming overnight for a year, you haven't found them their own beds.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Even though they've been coming, you say they've been coming at one overnight per for every other week, you haven't secured them their own places to sleep, their own beds.
No, I have not.
Why not?
Uh, so again, it kind of runs into the money thing. I don't have money to buy them bunk beds right now.
You said that you're doing all of the driving currently.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a point when Jennifer was meeting you in Concha, correct?
Yep, and she stopped that when I told her oldest daughter I wouldn't help her with a ride for her baby.
And did it have anything to do with Christmas of 22?
No, because she stopped doing that well before Christmas of 2022.
Now, your children are 8, 6, 4, and 3, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you indicated that they don't have homework sent home with them?
That's correct.
Would you anticipate that children of that age would have homework?
Yes.
Okay, and why? Why would you think that?
Because Shelby has a son that's 7 years old and he has homework that gets brought home every day.
Okay. Does he go to the same school as your children?
No, he goes to a public school in Battle Creek.
So have you asked Jennifer if there's homework that they need to do on the weekends?
I have not, because Jennifer wishes that we do not speak to each other.
Do you have the ability to send her text messages?
I do.
And could you send her a text message that would ask that kind of question?
I could, but what would be the point if somebody says we shouldn't speak to each other? Every time I do message her, I don't get a response back. My mother does.
When was the
Yay, Chris! Thank you so much. Also, what are you talking about in Houston, Envy? Is there some furniture guy that helps people with with beds and such? Because that is hard. That is hard. But I understand that what I think probably would have looked better in this situation would be him saying, we've cleared that room out. There are 2 mattresses in there currently, or a futon. You know what I mean? Like a pish posh part, like a little, hodgepodge put together, as opposed to nothing. Thank you again, Chris. That's so nice. I sleep on a couch most nights, to be honest. I don't like sleeping in a bed alone. Is that sad? When I sleep in a big bed alone, I don't know. I don't sleep very well. I can sleep in a bed with another person just fine, but by myself, no. I tend to just sleep on a couch, and then it's like somebody's at my back. It's the couch, which is very sad, but happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
last time that you tried to message her?
As I said before, it was February of 2023.
And what was the message?
The message was, thank you, Donna, Miss Orlando Chiquita. Look at that. Thank you, Donna, Miss Orlando. How is the weather in Orlando today? Mattress Mac is his public name. I'll look him up later. I'm going to make a note of it. Mattress Mac. Look at Donna. Look at this sign that Chris got me. Isn't that cute? It's so sweet. I love it. Beware of the beaver. Just a minute. Down, Paisley. Happy early Valentine's Day. It's so cute, right? And it's like a metal one. I love it. I'm so excited.
Like I said, I was trying to get along with her, try to tell her I want to be civil for the sake of the kids. I also explained to her how Shelby is as a person and the incident that happened. And I tried to tell her that I need my kids now more than ever, and that I would be willing to come to Coldwater to meet up with her, go over how the kids are doing in school and daycare and everything like that. I offered to pay for a meal when I came up there, told her I just wanted to be friends and that I wanted to work together for the sake of our children.
And you're currently on probation for domestic violence as a result of an incident against Jennifer?
No, against Jennifer's son, Dominic.
Do Do you think she might be a little bit nervous about communicating with you as the result of that experience with you?
Objection
most
is speculation.
I'll withdraw it.
Thank you.
What you said that you read books with the children. What
Yeah, Jonathan, I will add Jonathan Hart. I will add that to my list. Beware of beaver. Emoji. Emoji. Oh, ow, what the fuck is that? It hurts. Ow.
what are their favorite books?
They really like Peter Rabbit. We have Jack and the Beanstalk. It's the Mickey Mouse version. And there's we have a lot of we got this little bookcase that comes with like 6 little books or 8 little books of Peppa Pig. They really like Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol.
You know where the children attend school, correct?
I know of, but I don't know where one of the schools actually located at.
Do you know the name of the school?
Yes, I believe it's Jefferson Elementary School. I think that's Braley School.
And have you ever contacted the school to see if you can get a list of the school events?
No, because I knew that I have no rights right now because I have no legal or physical custody. They wouldn't give it to me.
Have you ever looked to see if the school has a website?
No.
Why not?
What would be the point to see if the school has a website?
Do you think the school might post when they have school concerts and school events?
Oh, I'm sure.
But you're not interested in finding out when there might be those school events that would be open to anyone to go see?
I would be. And I'm
Object to
sorry,
speculation. I'm gonna object to speculation as to what may be on their website.
Well, I don't think that was the question, Mr. Bartello, was whether he'd check in and think that was, that he would want to be involved in those activities. Go ahead.
To be honest, I didn't really think that far into it that I could do that. So now that you brought that to my attention, I'm definitely going to do that.
Did you inform Jennifer about the Christmas church program that the children performed in?
My mother did, yes.
But you didn't.
No, because again, like I said, Miss Wheeler requested that we don't speak to each other. So I have been respecting her wishes.
You said that your mom and Jennifer don't communicate that much, but your mom contacted her about the Christmas program, correct?
Correct.
And you said that your mom and Jennifer arranged schedules, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, in the Christmas of 2022, they were trying to arrange an alternative date so you could see the children on a different date when the weather was better, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to whatever communication between plaintiff and his mother. We can ask those people. They have personal knowledge.
Okay, Ms. McNiff.
Mr. Baker brought it up in response to one of my questions.
Yeah, okay, let's kind of move on if we could.
Have you ever sent a text message to Ms. Wheeler indicating that you were feeling suicidal and homicidal?
Your Honor, could I have a date?
Yeah, could we put a date on that so we have some?
In approximately 2022.
In 2022, I don't believe I did. If I did, like I said, it was out of anger.
You don't recall in February of 2022 indicating to her that you were depressed?
In February of 2022? No, I don't recall that. But I'm sure I was because my kids were being kept from me.
Do you know whether or not Ms. Howard ever filed a probation violation with your probation officer?
Not once.
Did you ever indicate to Jennifer that when your charges of domestic violence are dropped, that I'd be sweating if I were you to her?
Your Honor, what time period again are we talking?
Okay, if we could have the parameters and dates, Ms. McNiff.
And Your Honor, I don't know if,
I'm looking.
never mind, Your Honor.
I'll withdraw that. That was prior.
Thank you.
Yeah, no offense, but Miss McNiff leaves a lot to be desired as an attorney. And once they're out of the bag, they're out of the bag, MB. It doesn't seem like she's doing it in, I don't know if she's doing it in bad faith or if she's just bad at prep. I've felt this before with this lawyer. I remember like absolutely roasting her one time. I can't remember what case it was, but we roasted her. Was she one of Birdie's? One of the lawyers involved in Birdie's case? Um, it's on purpose. Well, then that is not. I'm glad that. But you see, the judge isn't dumb. That's the thing. The judge knows, right? Like, I think the judge is. Would you think the judge is ethical enough to like put that aside and say, hey, like in his mind, like low blow, bitch? You know, like to me, the worse you are, because a judge is going to be smart enough to know that, then, right? You know, she does look like she's on the phone, doesn't she? But I think she's itching her head. I think she's itching her head like this. Bye, autistic shill. Yeah, this judge does. This judge has a short fuse, but long words.
You indicated that one of your goals in your class for your action plan was not to react in an angry manner.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that you do have a history then of reacting in an angry manner?
I'd say in the past that I chose to react in an angry manner more than a calm manner. I wouldn't say that I have an issue with it. As like I said, now I'm in these classes. It's been a big help.
Would could you describe for me what that angry manner was when you were reacting in an angry manner? What would you do?
I would get loud and I would use intimidation tactics to try to coerce the other person to get what I wanted.
And how would you try to coerce the other person to get what you wanted?
Like I said, by intimidation.
So specifically, like was it words? Did you get close to them physically? What would you do?
It was words and maybe getting a little close, but it was never physical.
Did you ever throw anything?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you ever punch a wall?
No.
So it was strictly words. What kinds of words would you use?
Mostly foul language.
Did you call names?
I'm sure I
I'm going
did.
to object, Your Honor, as to everything prior. I mean, I don't know what the court wants to do going prior to the last order. The court would have heard all this before.
If we could confine ourselves to the last order, I understand you may want to get that in and why, but it's obviously pretty outdated and it's addressed by the last.
I think she can lead on cross, Jonathan. Because this is not direct examination, she is allowed to ask leading questions on cross-examination, if I'm not mistaken.
Last order, so kind of move on if we could, or otherwise we'll be here forever.
I understand, Your Honor, although this was more recent. Mr. Baker was testifying about what his action plan was just recently, and I was asking him what kind of reaction he was trying to improve.
Well, no, you were asking what specifically he had done prior to the classes and how he had previously reacted. So if you want to address how he's reacting now, that's fine, but let's not go beyond that.
I'll move on. Is do you have drug and alcohol testing as part of your probation?
No, I have not been tested yet, but I'm pretty sure I will be because most probation you have to be at least drug tested once.
And can you recall the last time that you lost your temper?
No, I can't. I would say, well, yeah, I can. I would say the last time I lost my temper was when I uh, was sending Jennifer the voicemail about the Christmas. She said I couldn't have the kids.
And you haven't lost your temper with Ms. Howard in the past couple of months?
No, I have not. When we broke up this last January, we broke up over text message and we didn't even see each other's faces.
I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Bartell, any redirect?
Just briefly, Mr. Baker, if you are given expanded parenting time, supervised, are you going to make the necessary arrangements for your children to have bunk beds or permanent beds?
Yes, sir.
And you might have more money at that time then? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. McNiff, as a result of that limited question?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. That will conclude your testimony then, Mr. Baker. Mr. Bartell, next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I need to actually call Bruce Sweet, and I guess I got to address the matter with him. He indicates he's in a place where he does not have Zoom, but he can phone in. He saw the phone-in portion of, I guess, the standard instructions we give. So I just want to make the court aware of that.
Okay.
So if I can,
yep, if you
give him a quick call.
Okay, why don't you put yourself on mute, call him, and then we'll go.
Swear or affirm that.
Hello?
Mr. Sweet, are you able to hear us?
Okay, Mr. Sweet is gonna be our I know, Jonathan, I know. It would be a good stopping point, but what I'll do is we will get in this is the supervised visitation guy. I don't think his testimony is gonna be very long because he's paid supervisor, he's calling in, all these reasons. So I'm hoping that we will let him do his testimony and then we will call it for the evening. I know it seems like what? But believe me, we have hours upon hours. We'll have a long one tomorrow night, probably. It won't start exactly the same time. 30 minutes or 2 hours KCC time, yeah. His testimony 30 minutes, you think? That's okay. In 30 minutes, 17:30. That'd be 17:39. That's fine. That'll still work fine for my plans. So, yeah. And I'll just shut up. I'll shut up.
Okay.
I am.
Okay, great. Mr. Bartell has called you to testify, sir. I'll have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you state your name for the record?
Bruce Harland Sweet II.
Okay. And where do you work?
I'm retired, but previously worked at psychological and counseling services when I met with Mr. Baker.
Okay. And what was your title there?
I'm licensed as a psychologist and a master's level social worker, but it was a private practice, so there was not a title involved.
Okay. And so what was it that you, I guess, engaged in as part of your employment?
One aspect of my employment there was to provides supervised parenting at the request of the court.
Okay.
And that's what I did
And-
with Mr. Baker.
Okay. And how long had you been at that job? I guess how long in your career?
I retired in 2015 from my primary employment, which was at Pines Behavioral Health Services, which is community mental health in Branch County. And then I worked in private practice from 17 until 21. No, I'm sorry, through 22.
And what degrees do you have?
I have a master's degree from Western Michigan University in counseling and personnel, and I'm licensed at the master's level for psychology and for social work.
And did you provide
MB. And Jonathan, you guys are making me laugh a little bit. Sorry. Let me just take it. Okay. I figured out which is the top setting on my pen. Remember I did a case, you might not, but the person didn't have a hand, they had a stub. Like they just had a nubbin. They had obviously had one of their hands removed. And so they had but the judge asked them to raise their right hand before they recognized the whoopsie moment. And then the guy like proudly puts up this not hand. And you can just see like the judge is like, okay. You know, it was interesting. I have to remember if that was on the old channel or the new channel, but I'm pretty sure it was the old channel. If so, I will re-edit and make it into a new video. There we go. Look at me just doing my work here. So many notes. So many things. And he may have been born like that too. It was the old channel, yeah. So then perfect. I will redo that video. I can't remember if it was Judge Anzalone or somebody like that. It might have been in Kansas. It might have been Judge Webster. I cannot remember. Might have been in Texas too. I just cannot. Add to notes. Fix gambling. What do you think? What's wrong with the gambling? Is it taking your money? Is it taking all the money, the fake monies? Because that sounds like the gambling's working. If we're working, I got a assessment by like Vegas, and they were like, "Yeah, we can change the odds." No, I didn't change the odds. Nothing fucking changed. But Streamlabs has just been so lackadaisical lately. Oh, let's not talk about it. Let's just keep.
counseling services?
I did. That was my primary, the primary component of my employment, but that's not what I provided for Mr. Baker.
Did you have a, I guess, specialty with regards to counseling? And what I mean by that, was that focused on children, adults, or some other subsector?
I would have to say not a specialty, but a lot of experience in my 30 years of practice.
Okay. And were you ever qualified as an expert witness?
Yes, sir.
And in what capacity?
As both a psychologist and social worker in the counseling field.
And do you know how many times you were qualified as an expert witness? Approximately.
At least 10, and probably all those would have been in Branch County.
In this particular matter, as you alluded to, you were a supervisor for parenting time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at some point, did you author a report to the court?
Yes, I did. So I met with Mr. Baker and his children on 3 occasions, and then wrote a report to the court on March of 22.
Okay. And if you bear with me for a second. Well, I don't know how we're going to do this, Your Honor, since obviously he's on Zoom. If I read the letter to you, Mr. Sweet, what may be the letter, can you confirm whether or not that was the letter you in fact wrote to the court back in March of 22?
I'll stipulate to the admission
Okay.
of the letter so that you can question Mr. Sweet on it.
Okay.
Perhaps he has a copy of it in front of him that you can work from.
Okay. And that is your Exhibit A, Mr. Bartel?
That is correct, Your Honor. We had filed that and sent one for the court as well.
Court will admit Defendant's Exhibit A, Ms. McNiff having stipulated to it.
Okay. I guess with regards to this, Mr. Sweet, I'm not going to go through the whole letter since it's submitted into the record for the court. Let me read a couple phrases. You had said during each of the 3 visits, Mr. Baker and his daughters were quite engaged with each other, talking, playing, and clearly enjoying the togetherness. Do you recall writing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And overall, how do you think those 3 visits went between Mr. Baker and his children?
I thought the meetings went well. It
Okay.
started a little slow, as would be expected, but the kids warmed up quickly, and the interaction was quite positive.
And when you say was expected, is that because Mr. Baker had not seen his children for quite a while?
I believe it had been 6 months since he'd last had face-to-face contact with his children before I met with them the first time.
And so you say it's overall positive. I guess there came a point that you recommended for my client's mother to take over the supervised visits?
Sir.
And
Yes,
why was
sir.
that?
Mr. Baker's employment hours had changed, and he would only be available for parenting time on the weekend. And that didn't meet with my schedule. And I felt that the interaction with the children was positive and appropriate. And so a recommendation that Paula Harris continue the supervision, which was Mr. Baker's mother. And I discussed that with Jennifer Wheeler as well, and all parties were in agreement.
And did you also recommend that the amount of time be expanded as well? Meaning the number of hours?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And why was that?
Hours, I believe. From the contacts that I viewed, I felt it was appropriate to extend his parenting time.
Okay. Now, I guess I want to focus. You made a recommendation or some type of recommendation at the bottom of your letter. You say, continued, Mr. Baker seems well connected with his children. They seem very comfortable with him. Continued supervised visits is seen as necessary until the legal matter of his alleged abuse is resolved. The resolution of that matter will likely impact upon his parenting time. Do you recall writing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess could you share to the court, I guess, your thoughts as to what you meant or what you were thinking as to that supervised parent time was necessary until the legal matter is resolved, and that after
Yes.
that it would impact his parenting time?
Yes, I believe the, the legal matter was what was driving the decision about supervised parenting in general. So I believe that was what brought into question Mr. Baker's ability to provide parenting to his children in a safe way. Those accusations had been made, but the situation had not been resolved. So he had been, in my understanding, accused but not convicted of having injured the stepson. So my thought was that if this was resolved, either by dismissal, that there, in other words, that there was no actual confirmation of the Mr. Baker hurting the stepson, or the opposite, if it was determined that Mr. Baker had assaulted his stepson and the court believed that that was putting Mr. Baker in a position where he would not be able to parent his children, that would lead to the decision about ongoing parenting time.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear it? Did you hear Chirpy? Is that in my house? Where did that come from? Did anybody else hear the chirp? I need to be sure that we heard the chirp, or else I need to start looking for the chirping smoke detector in my house. Fuck. They're so annoying. It was a chirp. Okay, thank God. I will never forget the 5-hour case where multiple people had the fucking chirping goddamn things and they were on different time. It was like I was hearing those chirps for a few days afterwards. It was just like because it was such a long case. It was like 5 hours or something. I can't remember what case that was. I think it was when I was just a viewer, not a streamer.
So if Mr. Baker has pled to a domestic violence, he was charged with child endangerment felonies, and those were dismissed, and he pled to a domestic violence for putting his hand over the child's mouth and scratching the child. What would your thoughts with regards to, I guess, his parenting time going forward be?
My thought was that that would not prevent him from providing safely for his children and would not inhibit an increase in his parenting time.
Okay. And also, if Mr. Baker has been put on probation and he's testified he's been on probation for over a year, he has not had any violations on probation, doesn't have any criminal charges against him since the last court order, and he is participating in healthy relationships classes, would that have any effect on your view as to his parenting time being supervised or unsupervised?
I would think those things would.
That's terrible, MB. I understand that though. Most often I was like forced to eat things that I didn't want to eat. Or ridiculed for what I wanted to eat in a different manner. Like, you think it's hilarious now? Oh, well. I mean, I'm not like I just had to redefine my relationship with food as an adult, because um, I guess I had like an almond mom type thing. I'm not really sure. I don't even know exactly what that is. What the fuck is that? Anyways, let's keep listening to this guy. As a reminder, we're going to continue this case tomorrow. Um, yeah, yeah. Let's keep going.
Would all lend themselves to an increase in parenting time and the, the need for ongoing supervision for 2 years. That would be seen as excessive in my opinion.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. McNiff, any cross-examination?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Sweet. This is Attorney Lisa McNiff. I represent
Good morning.
Ms. Wheeler. You
Yes,
indicated
ma'am.
you had seen Mr. Baker on 3 occasions, each time for 1 hour with the children. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
And the kids at that time were 6, 4, 2, and 1 years old?
I believe that's accurate.
And Mr. Baker's mother was present for 2 of those meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
And would you agree that for an hour span of time, it's relatively easy to maintain your temper?
I would expect so. Yes, ma'am.
And your supervision of those hours, each of those hours with the children were in a fairly controlled environment. Would that be true?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
And would you anticipate that spending an entire day or an entire weekend with 4 small children under the age of 8 could be more difficult and more trying than spending an hour in a controlled environment with the children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't counsel Mr. Baker for anger management, is that accurate?
That is correct.
And you didn't perform any psychological evaluation of him?
That's correct.
And was there any psychological evaluation that you had available to review for him?
No, ma'am, not that I recall.
And can you tell me what you were aware of with regard to Mr. Baker's behavior as it relates to his stepchildren at the time that you observed that parenting time?
Mrs. Wheeler has made me aware of the incident where Mr. Baker was being accused of injuring the stepson in a heated moment in the home.
And were you aware of any allegations of domestic violence against Ms. Wheeler? Any domestic violence by Mr. Baker against Mr. Wheeler at that time?
Not that I recall, no.
And if there was testimony by one of Mr. Baker's recent romantic partners that there had been physical violence where he was the aggressor, would that give you concern about the safety of the children?
If there's some significant question about Mr. Baker's aggressiveness, I would recommend a psychological evaluation, some testing to be done to try to get a better view of that. So it'd be hard for me to say.
Anybody can make any police report they want, and that doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, the Streamlabs thing is a chat bot that we abuse because Jonathan learned how to basically write code and add commands to the chat bot, so it has hundreds upon hundreds of commands, some that we forget. The main thing that everyone likes to do is gamble, but we also have like really fun quotes that we put in. It has links for people that come by and visit all the time so that we can link them. It's really easy for that. Oftentimes, like I'm sure, did you add one about Idiot's Guide, Jonathan? Right? So there's so many. If you'd like to add a command, let us know. We can work on that. By we, I mean whoever is unlucky enough to be the one mod in here, usually 1 to 2. And that's just, yeah. And it's free to play. You don't have to pay. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be subscribed even to earn points. You earn points I do think you have to talk though in the chat because it's based upon like activity. So yeah. And it's never lose gambling, exactly, because it's not real money. The points are completely arbitrary. And yeah. Oh, also we do like the snowball fight, the cookies, the roses, all the things that people do in here. There's just lots of things. But what I will say is that we may have to transition to a different. I'll have to look into it to find a different chat bot because, like I said, I'm working like Streamlabs is just difficult. Fake money gambling. I know, Mikey. It's unacceptable. But in reality, Streamlabs has some options that I need, but also some that I don't. So, um, we're not done. We're gonna finish listening to this guy be cross-examined by this lawyer, Lisa, who is annoying. We don't like her. How are you doing, Mikey? We were talking about you earlier. Mikey furiously clutches his pearl. Because we were thinking maybe it would be fun for you to come on the show and us do a lyric game.
That should or shouldn't interfere with parenting time when it's an accusation being made by an outside party with us not having any information surrounding that relationship or the ins and outs of that.
How confident? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
excuse me. No, I was done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sweet. How confident are you that the 3 hours that you spent with Mr. Baker 2 years ago is an accurate gauge of what kind of a parent he is now?
I guess I'm going to
Obviously,
object, Your Honor. I'm only going to object as to I don't think that's twisting what Mr. Sweet has indicated. It wasn't just the time he spent with them; it was the other stuff that we went over. So that's my objection.
Okay, well, I'll allow the question and go ahead.
What
Do
took
you need me to
place?
repeat it, Mr. Sweet?
I think I've got it, but what took place over 2 years ago, that would be very difficult for me to make a determination that he would be as good a parent or not as good a parent today. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I don't think I can.
I appreciate that. No, I have no further questions.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Bartel?
Yeah, just briefly. Mr. Sweet, do you think it's important if we have testimony from the supervisors that Mr. Baker engages with the children appropriately? Do you think that's a good barometer as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and why is that?
I believe if Ms. Harris has continued to provide supervised parenting time for, even though it's his mother, I believe her input would be extremely helpful to the court in making a decision here. If she's been supervising 6 hours and maybe it's increased since my recommendation back in 22, but if she's continued to supervise that contact, I believe she would be in the best position to inform the court of how that interaction has been.
And so if her supervision has increased to overnights from Saturday at 9 a.m. till Sunday at 6 p.m., that would even give her more insight. Would you agree that would give her more insight as to the appropriateness of Mr. Baker and his interaction with his children?
Yes, I would.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. McNiff?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Sweet, I did have one question. Obviously, I did have an opportunity to review your report. I say, was there anything that you saw during your contact with the defendant and his children that caused you any concern, notwithstanding the fact that it was approximately 2 years ago?
I thought the interaction, Your Honor, was very appropriate. It was a busy setting with each of the children wanting Mr. Baker's attention. He handled that well.
I think that's actually very important, MB, and and something that I think, like, you have to understand something. People that supervise parents' visitation, they tend to be overly cautious. They tend to lean towards being, erring on the side of caution. And so for him to be so comfortable so quickly, you have to understand that the children, but here's the thing, you can tell with children. Oh, it's coming up. But still, though, MB, you can tell with children. Like, what I'm saying is this guy only having 3 sessions, but being able to make this recommendation is just as strong weighted as him being able to make another recommendation. Miss Carey's probably over at Creed's place, gambling with him, keeping him in track with his money. But she also is back at work right now, so you know how it goes. We remember that everybody has real lives too sometimes, except for me. So when people disappear, it's okay for a little while. Yeah. See, and there's another great command. Love it. But my whole point is that you can very easily tell with children, especially at that age, if there is a comfort level. And even after 6 months, that's a good indication to me that they all wanted their dad's attention. They all see, yeah. I'm not liking that. Why you hold? No, I'm not liking. Yeah, not liking it. Anyways, let's finish listening to this part. Pay keen attention. And then, like I said, we're going to continue watching the rest of this hearing. There's another 49 minutes of it. Plus, I got 2 or 3 hours more for tomorrow. So we'll watch that later, like tomorrow. But let's listen to the rest of this now.
Okay, thank you. As a result of that, anything else, Mr. Bartel?
Just briefly, actually, there was one other note, if the court will give me some leeway. Mr. Sweet, if there's been no allegations of violence against Mr. Baker's kids, between him and his kids, do you think that plays an important role here as well?
Had that allegation towards his stepson? Was that the question? If that had
No,
not
I'm
occurred?
sorry, that might have been poorly. If there's never been an allegation towards Mr. Baker that he's harmed his children, do you think that's also important in part of this analysis?
Yes, it is.
And why is that?
Mrs. Wheeler had told me that she thought he was a good parent with the children. And if there's not been, prior to their separation, and if there's not been substantiated complaints of or accusations of aggressive behavior, harmful behavior towards his children. I think that says a lot, because it's an adversarial relationship at this point between Mr. Baker and Miss Wheeler, and so there's a greater likelihood that accusations are going to be made. So if none have been made and substantiated, I think that's very significant.
I think it is very significant too, Mr. Sweet. No, this is just a gift that I got, a pre-Valentine's Day gift from Chris. Thank you again, Chris. And look, if I hold it like this, you can see the reflection of the other one. Look it on the wall, the neon. I love that. I just got it today and I'm all excited about it. Also, yeah, buckle in for tomorrow for a long ass stream, because I'll tell you why. Maybe you're like me and you don't have a date tomorrow. You're gonna sit and be alone and think of your lover in your mind. No, we're gonna sit together and listen to these people's problems for hours tomorrow night. And then those of you that do have lovers that you love will go out for your dinners and then come back and tell us about it at the tail end. And we'll enjoy hearing about it. And somebody could recreate the dinner I requested yesterday. I know, Erica. But we can't, I'm not gonna watch 5 hours today. So um let's just finish it up and then make sure that Miss McNiff doesn't have any other questions. I'm sure she does. You're taking mom out? That's pretty sweet, Chris. Your husband's a manager at a high-end restaurant, so you won't see him at all tomorrow. Perfect, Dana. Your boyfriend works at night tomorrow, Beverly. Perfect. You'll be here too. Excellent. Sounds like you guys got plans with me tomorrow night. We're gonna have a great time. I am excited. So, this is gonna be great. Hey, maybe my roommate has a date? If so, I might be able to do a little kitchen stream. We'll see. Didn't work out today. Still working on that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. McNiff, anything as a result of that questioning?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sweet. That will conclude your testimony. You're excused. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay, what we're gonna do is just listen to who the next person to testify is. We're not gonna watch the testimony. I'm not, I've gone 3 hours straight. I'm allowed to take a break, and we're gonna. William, the island is very big. Somebody looked it up the other day and they were surprised at the size of my island. I say it like it's small, but it's big. But yes, let's listen to who we're going to listen to tomorrow. I'm excited.
Mr. Bartell, next witness.
Yes, Your Honor, I would call Paula Harris.
Okay. We'll bring her in.
Is that his mother? Harris, Baker. Who the fuck is Paula Harris? Who the fuck is that? That was a you, Ed, right? See, I remember often. Who the fuck is Paula Harris? Is it bigger than Japan? You're not on ignore, Ed. I see you. No, Shelby was the last girlfriend. Who the fuck is Paula Harris? It's too bad I stopped taking notes. Well, that's not my job. We'll find out tomorrow. Do you know MB? Who Paula Harris is? Oh, yeah. Bev, you're saying you're wondering if Vancouver Island is bigger than Japan? Let me see. I don't know. I haven't ever done that calculation in my head. Let's see here. I don't measure things in measures of Japan usually, but No, it is not as big. It could fit 12 times into Japan. So it's 12 times smaller than Japan, I guess. But it is the same size. It has a landmass of 32,134 square meters or square kilometers, which is 12,407 square miles. So that is the land mass, which is equivalent to that of the country of Taiwan. So if you need to relate it to an Asian country, Taiwan. Okay. Anyways, so like I said, we will continue. I'm going to make a note right now, but I'll also make a verbal note. We're going to be back to 125:30 of this hearing. And then, like I said, we have more. Thank you again for everybody for your lovely gifts. Chris and Jonathan and everybody who sent memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. Remember that I love you, I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! A verbal note. Yeah. When I say something out loud and then you guys honest. That's a verbal note. Bye.